the American debt for as long as it is capable of doing. But that's where the present problem lies, because the world, the rest of the world, which has been paying up to the present time for the ever-increasing American debt, because when I wrote this, the American debt was only counted in around maybe 2.5 trillion. Today is well over 10 trillion. And President Clinton promised us that the United States economy will grow out of it. What happened instead? It grew deeper and deeper into it, to the tune now of well over 10 trillion. Well, President Clinton also made himself immortal with the sentence when newspaper journalists were pressing him. He was saying about the problems. He was saying, "It is the economy, stupid." What he didn't say, who was really stupid? We can guess. Now, that is what our problem is, because at the same time, when we are talking about this problem, as I say, I had to discard most of what I wanted to present to you. It is of such gravity that you cannot simply confine it to what one can do in this and that part of the what Marx called the little corner of the world. It is really global and potentially catastrophic. And another thing we should not forget, that a big difference in the past of getting out of crisis for the capital system was always, the ultimate possibility for it was always have a big war. What a lovely war. Have a big war. And in fact, in the post-war period, in the last, after the Second World War, we had well in excess of 150 wars in which the United States was involved. But they were all relatively small wars. Even if in the case of the Vietnam War, much more explosive was dropped on that small country than in the total amount in the Second World War. Again, to put magnitudes in perspective. Now, the big problem for the capital system is there is no possibility of waging again a third world war. Wars are continuing. Just remember what is happening in the Middle East. A massive war with so many hundreds of thousands, in fact, of people killed under the circumstances. But there cannot be a third world war. That would be totally catastrophic for humanity. And our problem is not simply the collapse of capitalism. Our problem is securing the possibility of the continuation of humanity. You know, one of the chapters you find in this new book is what was also published in a separate volume with the title referring to Rosa Luxemburg, Socialism or Barbarism. And at the end I said, if I had to modify Rosa Luxemburg's sentence, socialist or barbarism, I would have to add barbarism if we are lucky, because the total extermination of humanity is what is at stake under the present circumstances. And the system, and I can show you another periodical, the front page of another political economic periodical, The Economist, which diagnoses the problem. Today, this is the previous issue, saving the system. Yes, indeed, that is the problem. They have the means and weapons they can apply, and they are applying it in every possible way for saving the system. But let us have no illusions about it. For us, the question is the alternative to this system. If we cannot institute a system which can match and overcome the contradiction, match the power and overcome the contradiction of this system, which is tending towards the destruction of humanity, that destruction of humanity is secure. And let me conclude it with the sentence of Einstein, who is also in that Hall of Fame, and with a mathematical formula, but never mind that. That's not what I am thinking of. Einstein once was asked, Professor Einstein, what sort of weapons will they be used in the Third World War? What will be the weapons with which they will be fought? And he answered, lady, I cannot tell you that, but I can absolutely guarantee to you that all subsequent wars will be fought with stone axes. So that is the perspective for us. Barbarism, if we are lucky, but that's what we cannot afford to allow. And that's why we have to think of systemic change. Our problem is that we need a systemic change. They want to save the system which is destroying humanity in every way, in nature, in the economy, in finance, in your everyday life, from your mortgage commitments to whatever else you may think about how you organize, how you order your life and your future and your children's future. We cannot let it go like that. Absolutely fundamental systemic change is what we need, and that is what we have to, all of us, apply our minds and our muscles and organizational efforts